I have exited Discovery. I'm a free agent.
What?
After years of whispers, rumors, and wild speculation, Richard Rawlings
I have exited Discovery. I'm a free agent. What? After years of rumors, Richard Rawlings is finally coming clean. The Fast and Loud star admits he's been hiding a dark secret, one that explains everything: why his marriages failed, why he suddenly sold his car collection, and why Discovery really cancelled his show. At 55, he's finally ready to tell the truth about what happened in that $6 million legal battle, and it's far worse than anyone imagined. Richard Rawlings was born on March 30, 1969, in a working-class neighborhood in Fort Worth, Texas. Long before he became a TV personality and automotive mogul, his world already revolved around cars. One of the earliest photos of him shows a small boy proudly sitting in a pedal-powered Volkswagen Beetle, not just a toy, but a glimpse of what was coming. While most kids were watching cartoons, Richard had a different Saturday routine. At 3 a.m., he'd join his dad to deliver newspapers, rolling up stacks, driving through dark neighborhoods, and tossing papers onto driveways. After school, he did it again for the afternoon edition. On weekends, he collected payments on his bike. What stood out wasn't just the money, it was the cars. He knew every make, model, and year on every driveway, astonishing customers with his memory. His father, who worked 2 or 3 jobs, always made sure to have one thing for himself: a car or a motorcycle. That lesson stuck. Richard learned early that if you wanted something special, you had to earn it. By age 14, he bought his first car, a green 1974 Mercury Comet, with money saved from years of delivering papers. Though not legally allowed to drive, that didn't stop him. He showed off by doing donuts in the school parking lot. Despite the ugly green color, he thought it was the coolest car ever. By senior year in 1987, he was on his third car, a black 1977 Bandit Trans Am straight out of Smokey and the Bandit. He was already known as the go-to car guy at Eastern Hills High School. But it wasn't just about showing off, he was flipping cars too. Before graduating, he had already flipped about 20 vehicles, making more than most teens with part-time jobs. He had a sharp eye for deals, knowing exactly how to improve a car and sell it for more. In the early 90s, at just 22, Rawlings faced real danger. While driving a classic 1965 Ford Mustang 2+2 Fastback in a rough area near Oakland Boulevard in Fort Worth, he was ambushed by carjackers. During the struggle, a bullet tore through his shoulder and traveled down his arm. He survived and, instead of walking away from car culture, he became even more determined. Between 1988 and 1990, before the tattoos and fame, Rawlings wore 3 uniforms: police officer, firefighter, and paramedic, all before turning 21. His dad had always told him, get a good job with benefits, stay loyal, and retire with a gold watch. Richard followed that advice, at first. Everything changed in 1988 when he delivered Miller Lite to a local bar. A regular, whom Richard assumed was just another drunk, asked what he wanted to do with his life. When Richard mentioned law enforcement but said he couldn't afford the academy, the man said, "Damn it, I'm the mayor of so-and-so city." 17 days later, Richard was enrolled in the North Texas Police Academy. He served as a cop in Alvarado, then as a firefighter in Coppell. He wore multiple hats and learned how to stay calm in chaos, skills that would later help him in business. By 25, he needed a new start. He sold everything, bought a Jeep, and moved to California. He returned to Texas 6 months later, broke, tattooed, with pierced ears, and no Jeep, it had been repossessed. Sleeping on his sister's couch, he didn't break, he focused. In 1999, he launched Lincoln Press, a printing and advertising company in Dallas, despite knowing nothing about printing. He took out a $100,000 small business loan and within 5 years, the company was booming. In 2004, he offered a Lamborghini Gallardo to the first client who spent $1 million, and it worked. He eventually sold the company, giving him the money to chase his real dream, cars. Gas Monkey Garage launched in Dallas in 2002, but the shop struggled. No running water, no air conditioning, and funded by his Lincoln Press profits. Rawlings hit the road to promote the brand at car shows and trade events. In May 2007, he and Dennis Collins attempted to break the legendary 1979 Cannonball Run record from New York to LA. They drove a Ferrari 550 Maranello with extra fuel tanks and made it in 31 hours, 59 minutes, breaking the record that stood for 28 years. Some doubted it, but Jay Leno's nod of approval gave Rawlings instant credibility in the car world. Between 2002 and 2012, Rawlings poured everything into Gas Monkey. He pitched a TV show idea repeatedly, wanting to bring car restoration to a broader audience. Networks hesitated, but he kept pushing. When Discovery finally said yes in 2012, Fast and Loud was born. It aired on June 6, 2012, and quickly turned Gas Monkey into a global brand. The show found forgotten classic cars, restored them, and sold them for profit. Its tone was light, fast-paced, and family-friendly. It became a hit in 200-plus countries, translated into 13 languages, and helped Rawlings build a business empire. By 2020, despite Fast and Loud ending after 16 seasons and 155 episodes, the Gas Monkey brand was stronger than ever. Rawlings's cash money formula of buying smart and selling smarter made for great TV and real profits. He once said, "You can always buy a $10,000 car for $5,000 if you've got it in your pocket." One standout build, a Dodge Challenger bought for just over $40,000, restored for $77,000, and sold for $150,000, a $73,000 profit. Rawlings often took risks, buying rust buckets or cars with frame damage others wouldn't touch. Even his team questioned some decisions, but Rawlings saw value where others didn't. One supercar, bought for $400,000 with serious issues, was turned around and sold at a profit. These high-stakes flips added drama and real tension. Not every build was a win, but that unpredictability made Fast and Loud a top Discovery show for 8 years. In 2020, Rawlings made the bold move to end his Discovery partnership. On the Joe Rogan Experience, he explained it was about control and creative freedom. Since then, he's focused on YouTube, new media projects, and expanding his brand. In 2013, he launched Gas Monkey Bar and Grill in Dallas, a 19,000-square-foot venue that was part restaurant, part music venue. He brought in experienced talent like Alex Mendanza, former House of Blues manager, to run it. Rawlings wasn't just building cars anymore, he was building a legacy. Hollister came in as the culinary manager to shape the food side of things, and the venue didn't open quietly. Just 2 days before the official launch, the American rock band Old 97s played the very first live show there, giving the place style and energy right from the start. By March 2014, Richard Rawlings was ready to go bigger. He opened a second Gas Monkey Bar and Grill, this time inside Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport's Terminal D. It was a smart move, giving travelers at one of the nation's busiest airports a taste of the Gas Monkey brand. Rawlings even hinted at opening a third location outside the Dallas-Fort Worth area. He wasn't just experimenting, he was building something. The bar and grill became more than a restaurant. It turned into a hotspot where car culture, music, and nightlife collided. Later that same year, in October 2014, Rawlings took things up a notch. Right across the street from the original location, he opened Gas Monkey Live, a massive 38,000-square-foot venue with room for 3,000 guests. It had previously been Toby Keith's I Love This Bar and Grill, but Rawlings transformed it into a full-scale concert venue built for big shows and even bigger crowds. On opening night, punk rock legend Social Distortion took the stage. From there, Gas Monkey Live began attracting huge acts and high-profile events. One of the most talked-about moments came in November 2014 when Motley Crue performed a free concert as part of their All Bad Things Must End tour. The event, called Dodge Rocks Gas Monkey, was exclusive. Only Dodge vehicle owners were allowed in. It wasn't just a concert, it was also a showcase for Dodge's latest models, including the Charger SRT Hellcat and the Challenger SRT Hellcat, blending speed, sound, and spectacle. Gas Monkey Live also hosted private events, VIP parties, and corporate functions, with green rooms and flexible spaces designed for more than just music. But despite its early success, the venue faced hard times. By May 2020, Gas Monkey Live closed its doors as financial pressure from the COVID-19 pandemic made it impossible to continue. The closure marked the end of a bold chapter in Rawlings' push into live entertainment, but it didn't slow down his ambition. Back in 2014, the same year Gas Monkey Live opened, Rawlings became the national spokesperson for Dodge. Suddenly, his face was everywhere. Commercials featured him behind the wheel, promoting Dodge's performance and style. Known already from *Fast and Loud*, he now helped Dodge connect with a broader audience of car fans. One of the most memorable moments from the partnership was the Dodge Rocks Gas Monkey concert at his own venue, tying together his love for cars, music, and branding in one night. The deal gave Rawlings national visibility and further cemented his influence in the auto world. Then in 2019, Rawlings ventured into energy drinks. Rather than building a company from scratch, he licensed the Gas Monkey brand, maintaining control of the image without taking on production costs. Gas Monkey Energy launched with 2 flavors, regular and light, both leaning into the themes of speed, power, and excitement, qualities Rawlings himself embodied. By January 2025, the brand introduced a third flavor, Tropical, a blend of mango, passion fruit, pineapple, lemon, and honey. The drinks avoided high-fructose corn syrup and artificial additives, aligning with the bold, fast, and clean lifestyle Rawlings promoted. Sold at convenience stores, online, and seen at major motorsports events like the Indianapolis 500 NHRA races, the brand carved out its space. While Rawlings' career sped forward with roaring engines and TV fame, his personal life was more complicated. Long before *Fast and Loud*, he got married for the first time in 1993 to Karen K. Grahams. At the time, he was still finding his footing in the automotive world. The marriage didn't last. By 1994, they were divorced. Karen stayed out of the public eye, and their brief time together was never part of the headlines. Still, that first failed marriage hinted at the difficulty Rawlings would face in balancing ambition with personal life. In 1999, he tried again, this time with Suzanne Marie Merrill. They married in Las Vegas just as Gas Monkey Garage began gaining momentum. But his career demands and frequent travel strained the relationship. After 10 years, they divorced in 2009. However, their story didn't end there. In 2015, 6 years later, they reunited in Cabo San Lucas and decided to remarry. It looked like a second chance built on growth and change. But by March 2019, Rawlings announced on Twitter that they were separating again. He explained that the decision was mutual, that they still cared for each other, but after more than 20 years of being on and off, it was finally over. Suzanne received a $300,000 financial settlement and kept her Mercedes SL 450 Roadster. Despite the split, Rawlings spoke kindly of their time together. Then came Katarina Deason. Her name drew headlines for another reason. She had previously been married to Texas billionaire Darwin Deason, who sold his company for $6 billion. Katarina had spent years in that world of private jets and superyachts, but her life took a sharp turn in 2019 when she started dating Richard. Things moved fast. On August 17, 2019, Rawlings proposed at B. Tulum Resort in Mexico, filling the beach with rose petals. They married on June 28, 2020, in Key West, Florida. The wedding was small due to COVID-19 cancelling their plans for a Greek ceremony, but the moment was deeply meaningful. Katarina had left one world behind to join another, one built around car shows, cameras, and revving engines. In June 2018, a major shock hit fans of the Gas Monkey brand. Gas Monkey Bar and Grill filed a $6 million defamation lawsuit against Rawlings himself. The lawsuit claimed he was trying to sever ties with his business partners through deceitful means. A 47-page legal document revealed tensions that began as early as 2013, even before the bar officially opened. One email from a former employee described Rawlings as treating construction workers terribly, comparing him to a spoiled 13-year-old. Eventually, Rawlings was reportedly banned from the site. After the bar opened, problems continued. The lawsuit alleged that Rawlings disrupted staff, showed up uninvited, and tried to take control, creating a toxic environment. In 2015, tensions exploded when Rawlings accused the team of hiding financial records. Though invited to audit them, he refused, claiming the records didn't exist, a serious accusation. He later apologized, blaming it on drinking, but the damage was done. His actions, the lawsuit claimed, scared off vendors and hurt the bar's reputation. In 2017, when a potential buyer showed interest in the brand, Rawlings again accused his partners of mismanagement, derailing the deal. In response, Rawlings filed a $1 million countersuit in March 2019, accusing the bar of copyright infringement and misuse of the Gas Monkey brand. He claimed the brand was being used for lewd events that damaged his image, and after a cease and desist letter was ignored, he took legal action. As lawsuits played out, Rawlings moved on. After *Fast and Loud* ended, he launched a podcast called *Monkey Trap*, mixing behind-the-scenes stories with high-energy interviews. One guest, stuntman Cord Newman, famously talked about setting himself on fire. The podcast kept Rawlings in the spotlight. In September 2023, Rawlings auctioned off nearly 30 cars from his personal collection via Bring a Trailer, bringing in over $1.8 million. Cars like a 1962 Chevy Corvette, $60,000, a 1965 Ford Mustang Fastback K-Code, $75,000, and a 1993 Toyota Supra, $121,000, were all sold, the Supra being the top earner. Rawlings explained the sale as a shift in focus. He was moving away from beer budget cars and aiming for high-end European models. He also auctioned a Gas Monkey Garage experience for charity, raising $16,500. With cash in hand, Rawlings began rebuilding, investing over $1 million in Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and vintage European models, especially those from the 70s and 80s. A highlight came when he bought 5 Ferrari Testarossas during a trip to Ireland, one of which had been converted to an electric vehicle and later showcased at SEMA 2023. By early 2024, Richard Rawlings wasn't just collecting different cars, he was reinventing himself. From lawsuits and breakups to exotic cars and new ventures, his story keeps evolving. Whether you admire or criticize him, one thing's clear: Richard Rawlings knows how to stay in the spotlight.